Hello, children. Welcome to the today's session. Uh, I hope yesterday's class you have understood about uh, what are the limitations of civil disobedience movement which took place in our country. So main thing they focused on untouchable peoples because during that time, during the period of nationalism movement, they kept a little bit far away as well as step back. We should not involve them in that way. The Congress was been thinking. So as a result, they did not involve in the nationalist activities which took place in our country there. Then how about how those people joined the national movement uh, to give the support for the civil disobedience movement as well as for the nationalism for the independence for our country, each and everything, how they came to know that one, how the people agreed to give their support towards the uh, Mahatma Gandhi ji. So these all things we have learned in the last class. So in today's class we will learn how these people gave the support towards the civil disobedience movement by the by the Dr. V.R. Ambedkar. Okay, so he was the leader of Dalit. So he gave the support afterwards. So how he gave the support, what was his demand, each and everything. Today in today's class, we are going to learn about that one only. So when Mahatma Gandhi ji started Satyagraha against the exploitation against the untouchable people, because he called untouchables as a Harijan. Harijan means children, God, childrens of God. So as a result, to gather them under a national activity to unite them, so he started satyagraha, and he demanded in front of the British government to give all kind of facilities, like moving towards the temple, moving in the public road, public path, public park, wall, public well and tank. So they have to be organized as well as they have to use this kind of basic needs and facilities which has been not given by the Sanatanis. Sanatanis is nothing but upper caste people. So upper caste people always try to suppress the low caste people during that time there very badly. So that is why the reservation system was been adopted by the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar when we got the independence there. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he was the person to organize the Dalit into depressed class association, which was established in the year 1930. So there was a clash between Mahatma Gandhi ji and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar at the second roundtable conference, because Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he demanded for separate electorates for the Dalit. Separate election reservation seats should be reserved so that our people will contest in the election, and whatever power, whatever facilities they are needed through the administration, through the power only, they will get that one, those basic facilities which are not given by the society there. Even till today also, the people are being exploited by the upper caste people only. Okay, so when in the second roundtable conference, when Britishers agreed, Ambedkar's demand was being fulfilled, and he believed that separate electorates of Dalit would slow down the process for their integration into the society. Okay, so when this kind of clash was being there in the second roundtable conference, Mahatma Gandhi ji returned back very disappointedly, and once again he relaunched the civil disobedience I have told. So he was thinking that once again the Britishers are dividing us and ruling on us. Okay, and if they give this facility to the Dalit people, maybe the process will be slowed down, because most number of the people are being SC/ST people only. Only 10%, 20% are Sanatanis, the people those who belong to the upper caste. So remaining caste, the people they it was been categorized under scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. For those people only, we will call it as a untouchable or a Harijans. Okay, so he was thinking in that way. Maybe the process will be slowed down. Still, some more time it is needed to gain the independence. So as a result, when he came back to the India, he once again he relaunched the civil disobedience movement plus he started the Satyagraha, Upasa Satyagraha against the fulfillment of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's demand. So after that, between Ambedkar and Gandhiji, one treaty was being signed. That treaty we call it as a Pune Pact of September 1932. In that period, between these two legends, one treaty was being signed there. So Dalit movement, however, continued to be oppressive of the Congress and led the movement. However, the oppressive they were keeping outside and they were doing the movement there. But um, the Dalit people they organizing themselves and they were fighting against their facilities, and also they were giving support to the national movement also after that Pune Pact, because Dr. B.R. Ambedkar he was the person to organize the Dalit, and he gave the awareness to the Dalit that raise voice against the exploitation which had been done by the upper caste people. So each and every people they were following the words of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So between these two legends, when the Pact was being signed, the Dalit movement was also being started with the national movement there. So even other category of the people also they did not give the support for the civil disobedience movement. So which category it is? So it is nothing but Muslim community people. So some of the Muslim political organization in India were like a lukewarm. Lukewarm means not too much hot and not too much cold, mild will be there na? So in their response they were not supporting the movement which was launched by the Congress leaders as well as the Mahatma Gandhi ji. Why? So after the decline of after the failure of not failure, when he took back the non-cooperation movement and the Khilafat movement, a large section of Muslim people they started feeling alienation from the Congress leaders there, because a relationship between the Hindus and Muslim during that time it was too much worse, and each community organized religious procession with the military favor, provoking Hindu and Muslim as a communal clashes, and in the various cities always the clash was been going on. So in the Congress they started feeling alienation, ಅವ್ರು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನೇನೋ ತುಳಿತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಮನೋಭಾವನೆಯನ್ನ ಬೆಳೆಸ್ಕೊಂತಾರ Muslim leaders in a large section, not in a small percentage. In a large section they started thinking in a different way, that the Congress leaders they are not giving the more support for us people, and also the Congress leaders they are not giving support to our movement as well as to support us. So in that way they started thinking. So as a result, between those two religion always the clashes were been going on. So the Congress and the Muslim League was been renegotiated with an alliance which was been signed in 1927, and a lot of differences were also been arised. So the important difference were over the question of representation in the future assemblies that were to be elected. So they started thinking about future at present situation. So the important difference, whether they are giving this representation in the legislative assembly or not, whether we will get the reserved seats, how the Dalit people got by the British government if we give support for the congressmen. So in that way they started thinking in that way. And also uh, the Congress leaders they were closely touched with the Hindu Mahasabha. So that is why the Muslim people started feeling that alienation there. So maybe our culture, our tradition will be suppressed by the under the Hindu majority, and our culture will also submerged under that community only as well as that mm, religion only. In that way they started thinking. So in that thinking one leader was called as a Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He is one of the leader of Muslim League party, was willing to give up the demand for the separate uh, electorates. So in the second round table conference also the Muslim people they um, kept their demand in front of the British government to give the separate elections for the Muslim people. If the Muslim were assured seats in the Central Assembly and the representation in a proportion to the population in some places, according to the population, the reservation seats should be preserved there. So as a result, many leaders and intellectuals expressed their concern about their status. They started thinking about their status in the society, whether our status will be there, whether our identity, our culture, our tradition, our principles, our rules and regulations, whether we can able to maintain in the India. In that way they started thinking. And also I have told, they were thinking that under the domination of Hindu uh, religion as well as Hindu majority, maybe our culture and tradition would be submerged ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ನಮ್ದೇ ಅಂತ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಟಿನ ಕಳ್ಕೊಂತೀವಿ. ಸೊ in that way the Muslim leaders started thinking. So as a result, these two communities, one is untouchables and the Muslim community, they did not give the support for the civil disobedience movement. So these are the two limitations while the civil disobedience was being launched. So this is all about civil disobedience movement. After civil disobedience movement, when other movement took place in our country, um, in a slowly, gradually, in a successfully, the Congress as well as the Gandhiji was being launched. So soon after that, Cripps mission came to our country, and the effects of Second World War, which was created the wide spread discontainment in India. So at that time, this Cripps commission was being coming to our country. So immediately, this led the Gandhiji to launch a movement calling to complete withdrawal of British from India. So the Congress working in the community in its meeting in the Vadra in the 14th July 1942 and passed a historical announcement as well as resolution called Quit India movement by demanding immediate transfer of power to the Indians and the Quit India movement. So during this time only the Second World War was being broke out in the world. So at that time, the Indian peoples, they were started thinking after the Second World War, maybe we will get our independence. The power will be transferred to our country as well as to the Indian people there. So during after the Second World War, when widespread depression took place, and once again the Britishers, they did not transfer their power to the Indian people. Immediately, Gandhiji launched the Quit India movement in the year 1942. Okay, do or die, madu illave madi, we want our power and we want our independence. So power, however, the power should be transferred to our Indians only. Our Indians only should be the leaders, not the Britishers. Now we are not agreeing to continue under the British administration. So in that way he started provoking the all Indians by through the national speeches and everything else. So each and every people, they started joining the Quit India movement. Now do or die, we want the independence from the British administration. So as a result, the All India Congress Committee took the resolution which was called as a non-violent mass struggle, which was widespread. So it was the occasion that the Gandhiji delivered the famous do or die speech. The call of quit India almost brought the state machinery under one control as well as under one voluntarily. So this movement was truly a massive, which brought into a habit thousands of ordinary people, many students, workers, peasants. They actively participated in the Quit India movement. Now each and every Indians, they don't want to be under the British rule. So as a result, the 1942 Quit India movement was being launched. So the prominent leaders called Jay Prakash Narayan, Aruna Asif Ali, Ram Manohar Lohia, and many women such as Matangi Hazira in Bengal, uh, Kantalata in Assam, Ramadevi in Odisha. The British responded with much force, yet it took more than the year to suppress the movement. So when immediate the Quit India movement was being launched by the Mahatma Gandhi ji, each and every student, workers, peasants, each and every community people, they gave the support for the Quit India movement. Now they are not ready to accept the British administration, even after Second World War also. Even during that time, they did not transfer any kind of power to the India. So now the Gandhiji, he took the serious step. Now we will launch the Quit India movement, that do or die, we want the full independence. So yet it took more than for the Britishers, it took more than years to suppress the movement there. But as a result, due to the pressure, the Britishers started thinking that now it is ready to now it is correct time to transfer the independence to the Indian people there, as well as transfer the power to the Indian people. So as a result, 15th August 1947 midnight, we got the independence. At the 12 o'clock in the midnight, they transferred our uh, their power as well as our power to our Indians there. So finally, after the Quit India movement in 1947, we got the independence. So about Quit India movement, I have told. Okay. So do you know on how do the nationalism was being spreaded among the people? How do the nationalism was spreaded among the people? Only the movement uh, enhance the national sentiment among the people? No. Some sources will be there now to enhance national sentiment among the people. Do you know? Do you know what kind of sources they were using to enhance the national sentiment among the people? Are you able to imagine what kind of sources they might be using? How they were spreading the national sentiment among the people? Any guesses? How? In what way? So, in the next session, I am going to answer to this question there. So, how do the nationalism was spreaded among the people? Only the movement did not enhance the national sentiment, but also some other sources also helped to enhance national sentiment among the people. Okay, so remember, if you are having any kind of doubt about Quit India movement, limitations of civil disobedience movement, you can just pin your question in the group, so that it will be very helpful for me to sort out your problem. So signing out, have a great day. Bye everyone.